Hello, I'm Lauren. I bring to you my friend, Dr. Jabbour, a distinguished professor with a doctorate in Islamic studies, to read to you passages from his book, Unshackled and Growing. In addition, a PDF version of the book in English is available to you for free on the website, friendshippathways.com. You may also access past episodes there. I present to you the episode, Unity in Diversity.
Unity in diversity. Perhaps, my Muslim friend, you are attracted to Jesus and believe that he was who he said he was. You have seen what he gave and what he took in the great transaction he made with us. Maybe you have even had an encounter with Christ, or you might still have reservations about following him because of what you think about his other followers. Remember what I said earlier about not throwing the baby out with the bath water. In this chapter, we will address this important question. Does following Christ mean becoming a carbon copy of other Christians? You may have believed that following Christ requires changing your name to a Christian name, abandoning your Muslim family, and turning your back to your Muslim culture and friends. You will see in this chapter that this is not the case. It is true, though, that some Christians assume there can be no unity among the followers of Christ unless there is uniformity where they all look the same. A friend of mine from an Arab country, I will call Abdullah, is a follower of Christ from a Muslim background. For a few years, he studied at a Bible college in the United States. His new friends at the Bible college felt called by God to break every Muslim form and habit he had so that he would become just like them. From their perspective, that was how he could become a real Christian. Since he was a child, Abdullah said, Bismillah, which means in the name of God, before he began eating. His father ingrained this habit into Abdullah's life, and it became part of his being. His Bible college friends watched him closely before meals, and if they saw his lips moving, they said in an attempt at accountability, "You said it." He would apologize and promise never to do it again. When God looked at that situation, it must have broken his heart to see the box mentality of his children who believe that unity can exist only in uniformity. But I believe that the Bible teaches there can be unity in diversity. When people in the Western world, whether Christians or Muslims, think of church, what comes to their minds? A building, distinct architecture, a gathering on Sunday morning, singing hymns, sitting in pews, and so forth. In other words, they are thinking of the heavily institutional, building-centric version of the church. Could a network of people or a group of friends or family members who have put their faith in Christ be another manifestation of the church? In this network of relationships, manifestation which could be a family or a group of friends that has the potential of becoming a church. Some individuals in the social structure or in this network of relationships could be very influential, and some others could be marginal. Both are precious to God. What connects those individuals with one another are not lines but channels of relationships. These channels could be either blocked or open. Can you imagine what would happen to that social structure or that network of relationships if the leader puts his trust in Christ? What would happen if he or she began to clear and clean these relationship channels by being humble, asking for forgiveness when necessary, and reaching out to others in love like Jesus did? Can you imagine if this person refrained from self-righteous preaching at others and let her or his lifestyle win a hearing before he or she began to articulate the gospel or talk openly about Christ? What if his life's mission was to live out the following two passages in the Bible? Do not repay anyone evil for evil. Be careful to do what is right in the eyes of everybody. This text is in the Bible in Romans chapter 12, verse 17. The other text is in 1 Thessalonians 5:18. Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. What if a few in this network of friends who received the gift of grace began a relationship with God and began growing? What would it take for them to become a church or an ecclesia? As you know, the Old Testament was written in Hebrew and the New Testament was written in the Greek language. Ecclesia is the Greek word for church, which means people of God. What if those, whether a family or a group of friends who put their faith in Christ, met together regularly for worship, study of the Bible, and encouraging one another to reach out to the lost around them with humility as they learn together how to articulate the gospel or speak openly about Christ? Can you envision this small group in a Muslim context made up of family members or a group of friends evolving gradually into a nucleus of a church plant without taking the appearances of a church institution? Does the Bible allow that? This question is very important, especially when we think of our Muslim brothers and sisters who have put their faith in Christ in countries where proselytizing is considered illegal and conversion to the outward forms of another religion as high treason.